Mike Tyson walks into a training gym at 50 years old. A 28-year-old heavyweight looks at him and laughs, says, "You're too old to be here." What happens in the next 90 seconds doesn't just silence the room. It forces every person watching to rethink everything they believe about age, decline, and what a body trained by obsession can still do. Los Angeles, October 2024, 6:14 a.m. The DX3 boxing facility in Woodland Hills doesn't open for another hour, but the lights are already on. They've been on since 5:30. The gym smells like leather and dried sweat, and rubber flooring baked by 1,000 mornings just like this one. Heavy bags hang still in the pale fluorescent light. The ring sits in the center, white canvas, blue ropes, the corners worn down from years of fighters leaning into them between rounds. Foam padding peels at the edges. Nobody fixed it because nobody needed to. The ring doesn't need to look good. It just needs to hold. Outside, Los Angeles is still dark. Traffic on the 101 is already building. Somewhere a siren. The kind of city that doesn't sleep, but doesn't quite wake either. Inside this room, none of that exists. Inside this room, there is only the work. A speed bag rattles in the corner, rhythmic, precise, the sound of someone who has done this 10,000 times and will do it 10,000 more without thinking about it. The hands moving it belong to Mike Tyson, 5'10", 220 pounds, 50 years old, wearing black shorts, black hand wraps, no shirt. The body is different from 1988, the waist thicker, the face carrying decades of everything that happened, but the shoulders are still the shoulders of something built to destroy. Deltoids like river stones, traps that rise toward a neck that was never small. The skin carries old scars and new muscle in the same breath. He doesn't notice the door open, or maybe he does and doesn't care. Bolumber, the laugh. Marcus Webb walks in at Alter Yermi Iki AM, 28 years old. 6'2", 240 pounds of professional ambition wrapped in a red tracksuit. He's been training here 3 months, brought in by a manager who told him this gym produces champions. Marcus has 7 pro wins, no losses. Decent jab, good chin, the kind of confidence that hasn't been tested yet at the level that tests. He sees Tyson at the speed bag and stops. The other trainers in the room, 2 of them, both quiet men in their 40s who've seen everything, don't look up. They know what they're watching. They've known since 5:30. Marcus doesn't know yet. He watches for 30 seconds. Then he leans over to his training partner, a lean kid named Deshawn, and says something under his breath. Deshawn smirks, looks at the floor, doesn't respond. Marcus doesn't read the silence correctly. He walks toward the ring, drops his bag, starts unwrapping his hands to rewrap them. Normal morning routine. But his eyes keep going back to Tyson. There's a look on his face, not malice exactly, something younger than malice. The look of someone who has been told he is the future and is now seeing the past and finds it small. When Tyson finally stops, clean stop, no slowing down, just done, and turns to pick up a water bottle, Marcus speaks. "Hey, big fan." A pause. The pause does work that the words don't. "Didn't expect to see you still at it. How old are you now? Like 50? Tyson looks at him, takes a drink, sets the bottle down. 58. Marcus nods slowly. "Respect. But you know," another pause, this one longer, theatrical. "At some point the body just can't, right? No shame in it. Father time." The room temperature drops. Deshawn finds something interesting to look at on the floor. The 2 trainers exchange a glance, so brief it barely happens. Tyson doesn't respond. He walks to the ring, steps through the ropes, and begins shadow boxing. And Marcus Webb sees, for the first time, what he is dealing with. Bolum Iki, shadow. The shadow boxing lasts 4 minutes. Nobody in the room speaks. Nobody pretends to do anything else. Even Marcus stops rewrapping his hands and watches, though he would later claim he wasn't watching. Tyson moves in combinations that don't announce themselves. Jab, cross, hook to the body. The hook to the body is the one that makes Deshawn inhale audibly. The rotation in the hip, the drop of the shoulder, The torque generated by a body that has thrown this punch approximately 1,000,000 times and has made it faster, not slower, through pure mechanical memory. The punch lands on air and you can hear it, not the impact, the displacement, the whistle of something moving too fast for its size. He slips a phantom right hand, rolls under a phantom left, counters with an uppercut that starts at his knees and arrives at nothing, but you can see where it would arrive, and you don't want to be there. His feet are what Marcus can't stop watching. Light, impossibly light for 220 pounds. Quick steps, weight transfers that make no sound on the canvas. He doesn't stomp, he glides. The same feet that carried him through 58 professional fights. The same feet that entered Madison Square Garden and made men twice his experience look confused and slow. Marcus Webb is a good boxer. He knows enough to understand what he's seeing. And what he's seeing is not nostalgia. It's not a retired man moving through memories. It's a trained organism, doing what it was designed to do, with the particular efficiency that only comes when a skill has been compressed by decades into something that no longer requires thought. 4 minutes end, Tyson stops, looks at Marcus. You want to work? It is not an invitation. It is a question with only one socially viable answer, and Marcus Webb, to his credit, understands this. Yeah, he says, let's work. Bellum uch, Doxon seconds. They don't spar full contact. This is important context. What happens is not a fight. It is a demonstration. 1 round, headgear on, gloves on, movement only. No power shots. This is what Tyson specifies and what Marcus agrees to. The trainers pull on their mitts out of habit, then put them back down. The bell rings. Or rather, Deshawn says, time, because there is no bell at 6:30 a.m. Marcus comes out behind his jab. Technical, measured. The jab is good. Long, straight, timed. It reaches for Tyson's face and finds nothing. Tyson has already moved. Not backward, diagonally, inside and to the left. The pocket, the place Marcus's right hand cannot easily follow. Marcus resets. Jabs again. Double jab this time. The second one faster. Tyson slips the first and is already past the second. Body low. Head level with Marcus's chest, entirely inside his range. Marcus can't punch here. His arms are too long. He needs distance. He has no distance. He tries to create it. Steps back. Tyson follows. Not chasing, following. There is a difference. Chasing is desperate. Following is patient. Tyson follows like the distance between them is a decision he's making, not a product of Marcus's movement. 30 seconds in, Marcus tries the right hand. It's a good right hand. His best punch. It travels on a clean line, and Tyson rolls under it and comes up on the other side and taps Marcus on the ribs twice with a left hook. Open glove, no power, pure precision. And the message is tactile and immediate. I was here and you didn't know, and if I wanted to, it would have been different. Marcus's eyes change. The confidence doesn't disappear. It restructures. Something inside him is rapidly recalculating. At 60 seconds, Marcus tries to clinch, a veteran move. Smother the pressure, reset, breathe. Tyson lets him, doesn't resist. Then, when Marcus relaxes slightly inside the clinch, the natural human instinct to exhale when pressure pauses, Tyson steps back and to the right simultaneously, breaking the hold, creating space on his own terms, and Marcus stumbles a half step forward into nothing. At 90 seconds, Deshawn says, time. Marcus stands in the center of the ring, chest moving. Tyson's chest is moving too, but less. They look at each other. The room is so quiet you can hear the fluorescent light buzz. Then Marcus Webb does something that matters. He nods, not a social nod. A real one. The nod of a man updating his internal model of the world. Okay, he says quietly. Okay, Bullum Dort. What Father Time actually takes. They sit on the ring apron afterward. Marcus drinks water. Tyson drinks water. The trainers begin their own morning work. Deshawn pretends to stretch. Marcus asks, how do you still move like that? Tyson is quiet for a moment. Not performing the pause, actually thinking. I don't move like I used to. I used to be faster, stronger. I used to be something people never recovered from seeing up close. A beat. What you saw just now, that's what's left after time takes what it takes. It took the explosive first step, took some of the power off the right hand, took the ability to do this for 12 rounds without thinking about it. He looks at his hands. But it couldn't take the pattern, the reflex. 40 years of drilling the same movement into the same nerves. That part doesn't age the same way muscle does. Marcus is quiet. Father Time doesn't take everything at once. He's smart about it. He takes the obvious stuff first and hopes you quit. Most people quit. They feel the first loss, the speed, the recovery, and they decide it means the whole thing is gone. They stop working, and then Father Time takes the rest. Not because he earned it, but because they gave it to him. He stands up, stretches. "You're good," Tyson says to Marcus. Matter of fact. No ceremony. Jab is clean. Right hand has real weight behind it. You need to work the body more, and you need to stop assuming age tells you what someone can do. That assumption will get you hurt someday by someone who didn't quit. He picks up his water bottle, heads toward the back of the gym. At the door, he pauses without turning around. "Same time tomorrow. You want to learn something." He doesn't phrase it as a question. Marcus Webb trains with Tyson's team for the following 6 weeks. He doesn't tell the story publicly for a long time. When he finally does, in a podcast interview 2 years later, before a major fight, he says it simply, "I walked into that gym thinking I understood what decline looks like. Mike Tyson showed me I didn't understand what dedication looks like. Those aren't the same thing. I was measuring the wrong thing." He wins the fight. In the post-fight interview, someone asks who influenced his preparation. He names 3 people. Tyson is one of them. In November 2024, Mike Tyson enters a ring in Dallas against Jake Paul. He is 58 years old. The outcome of that fight is not the point of this story, and never was. The point is what happened 6 weeks before, at 6:14 a.m., in a gym that smells like leather and rubber, and 40 years of someone refusing to stop. Father Time is patient. He takes the obvious things first, and he waits for you to decide the rest is gone. Most people help him. Some people don't. When was the last time you let the number on a page tell you what your body could no longer do? And when was the last time you decided to find out for yourself?